G'day Hanahan, I'm Wild Joe. And for the senior show, I've decided to do something a little special. A Wild Joe special. Now here are 2 unreleased episodes of In the Wild with Wild Joe. G'day Hanahan, I'm Wild Joe, and today we'll be talking about these flashy birds right here. Okay Hanahan, before we start today's episode, I'd like to give thanks to Eudora Farms for helping us educate y'all today. Today's subject is the peafowl. Although most people call them peacocks, peacocks are actually only for male birds. Just like chickens, where the male is called a rooster or a cock and the female is called a hen, male peafowls are called peacocks, female peafowls are called peahens, and babies are called peachicks. Not to be confused with chickpeas, which make a tasty hummus. Indian peafowls have a range of across India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. While green peafowls are found in Southeast Asia, speaking of Asia, peafowls are completely safe as long as you aren't a kung fu panda. The Indian peacock has very flashy plumage with a bright blue head and neck, but the Indian peahen is a drab, molted brown in comparison, kind of like my ex-girlfriend's mom's meatloaf. Male peafowls need the colorful colors to attract mates, while females need the drab colors to blend in bushes while incubating their eggs. The peacock's back and belly have iridescent feathers in a scale pattern. The thing that the Indian and green peacocks are best known for is not the tail. These peacocks have a long train, which most people think is their tail. Actually, those are long feathers are the male's tail's coverts, or the feathers that cover the base of the tail. The train is covered in ocelli, which are round spots that look a lot like shining eyes. Some would say they have eyes in the back of their heads. It may seem that having such a long train and bright feathers would slow a peacock down and make him an easy target for predators like mongooses, jungle cats, stray dogs, leopards, and tigers. And this is absolutely true. However, if a predator grabs the train, the long feathers pull out easily and the peacock can fly away, kind of like me in any of my past relationships. Peahens seem to prefer males with the longest trains and the biggest display. In fact, the peacock's female attraction power is directly related to the perfection of his spectacular train, including its overall length, the number of iridescent eyes that are present, and even the symmetry of their patterning. So I guess size matters in the peacock world too. A pride of peafowls spend their day foraging the ground for grains, insects, berries, fruit, small reptiles, and mammals. Basically a golden corral of nature. Okay Hanahan, that's all I have for today. Thanks again for Eudora Farms for letting us use the animals to help educate y'all today. And remember, stay curious, fly high, and soar like a hawk. G'day Hanahan, I'm Wild Joe, and today we'll be talking about these kicking kangaroos right here. Okay Hanahan, I want to thank Eudora Farms for hosting us today. And today's subject is, like I mentioned, these red kangaroos. Like Creed here. Kangaroos are native to the land down under, Australia, where they reside out in the outback, which surprisingly isn't Australian for steakhouse. The average jump of a red kangaroo is 25 to 30 feet. However, the farthest recorded leap was made by a female red kangaroo in New South Wales who managed to cover over 12 meters in a single leap. And for you Americans out there still not using the metric system, that's 42 feet. Kangaroos use their strong tails for balance, and they're the largest marsupial in the world, standing over 6 feet tall. I wish. They live in small groups called troops or herds. The Aussies call them mobs, typically made up of 50 or more animals. And when threatened, kangaroos will use their strong hind legs to pound the ground in warning. And if it comes to it, they'll kick and sometimes even bite. And trust me, you wouldn't want to be in the receiving end. Just like my ex-girlfriend's mother, Terry. Oof, Terry, don't even get me started. Kangaroos will fight each other for dominance, protection, and the ladies. So, just like Hanahan High School during lunchtime. And kangaroos are jacked. I mean, just look at this picture. Now, besides humans and wild dogs called dingoes, kangaroos don't have that much predators. Heat, drought, and hunger due to habitat loss are the largest threats kangaroos face today. An interesting fact about female kangaroos is that they sport a pouch on the belly, made by a fold in the skin to cradle baby kangaroos called joeys. Newborn jaws are just 1 inch long at birth, about the size of a grape. After 4 months, the joey emerges from the pouch for short trips to graze on grass and small shrubs. A little bit like me on a Saturday morning after all-night grind on Fortnite. Okay, Hen, that's all I have for today. Thanks again for Eudora Farms for letting us come to this wonderful Zoom to film Creed and his pals. And remember, stay curious, fly high, and soar like a hawk. And during the end of March, the band decided to go on a field trip to Disney World, and me and my crew decided to tag along. Here's what we saw. G'day, Hen, I'm Wild Joe, and today I'm at Disney World's Animal Kingdom. Let's see what we can find out. Walking around the park, you can actually see so many different creatures, like this pink flamingo. Did you know that flamingos are technically not pink? They're actually white, but their diet gives them that distinctive pink color. While walking, we saw snipe in the wilderness, a native to the jungles of South America and Paradise Falls, and apparently Orlando, Florida. We got to see the mythical Tree of Life, which is at the center of the park. While here, I decided to go ride the widely recommended Cali River Rapids, which was a really good way to cool off walking all day. We also got to check out the Avatar-themed area of the park, Pandora, the huge landscape of floating rocks that look straight out of the movie. While waiting in line for the new Avatar Flight of Passage ride, we got to see an awesome Avatar-themed lab. I mean, look at this Ikram school. Did you know that the Na'vi have to bond with one of these as a flight of passage? You could have probably guessed that from the ride's name. There was also a really cool Avatar body in a big tube. I also checked out the Na'vi River Journey boat ride, which was breathtaking, and towards the end of it was a singing Na'vi. Did you know that Na'vi can get up to 10 feet tall? They also have natural occurring carbon fiber bones, which make them basically indestructible. Then we decided to go to the Expedition Everest ride, which had a ton of cool artifacts in it, including this Bigfoot. That was the end of the first day, but the second, the band and I went to Magic Kingdom, via ferry. And entering the park, you can actually see Cinderella's castle. But we wasted no time, we went straight towards the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, which we got to see a good looking fella at the end. Then we went to the space-themed area at Disney and waited in line for Space Mountain. Who knew I'd be in space for one of these episodes? After that, we went to listen to Sebastian's beautiful singing. And finally, when we were about to leave the park, we got to see a marching band play some amazing tunes. Now the third and final day at Disney World, we went to Hollywood Studios. Wasting no time, we went straight to the Mickey and Minnie's Railway, which to be honest, was a little bit of a snooze fest. Let's go! After that, we cut through the Toy Story themed part of the park and went through Galaxy's Edge, where we did the Smuggler's Run. Then we sneakily snuck past this First Order patrol, but thankfully we went the droids they were looking for. Where we went to the Star Wars market, where we saw some unique Star Wars creatures like this loft cat. After the market, we walked past this AT-AT straight to the Rise of the Resistance ride. After waiting 3 hours in line, we finally got there and we made past the introduction until we had to get evacuated because the ride broke down. But at least we got to see this cool battalion of stormtroopers, and I even got to take a picture. And to close off the final day, we had gone to see the Phantasma show, where we saw some really cool waterworks, puppeteering, and pyrotechnics. Okay, Hen, that's all I have for today. I sure had a blast going through these rides and checking all the animals here at Animal Kingdom. And I sure hope you enjoyed watching me. And remember, stay curious, fly high, and soar like a hawk. Wow, that was a blast of a trip. Thanks to the band for making it possible. Now, here are our best moments of In the Wild with Wild Joe. Now, African spurred tortoises are the third largest species of tortoise in the world, only behind the giant Aldabra and my girlfriend's mother. Hedgehogs come in tan and lightish brown, and with pale underbellies, but sadly, they don't come in blue. Savannah monitor lizards are a robust species of lizard, with strong limbs, sharp teeth, and powerful jaws. Strangely enough, don't live in Savannah, Georgia. Males will try and outstink each other by rubbing their scent glands on their tail and flicking it at other lemurs who pose a threat. Kind of like me and the boys wearing that Axe body spray in 6th grade. Now, morelet crocodiles is a relatively small species of crocodile if you compare them to the African and Australian cousins. They grow about 10 to 14 feet long. But you know what they say, size doesn't matter. For defense, these hedgehogs come equipped with quills all over their bodies except for their face, legs, and soft underbellies. And when they feel that they're in danger, they'll curl up into a ball to protect their soft underbellies and to destroy Dr. Eggman's robots. Now, if those taxes didn't work, what it'll do, it will play dead. I tried that once, did not work. That's a story for another day. This beautiful animal called
a sheltopusik.
A sheltopusik. Now, you told me that this is a lizard and not a snake. Can you mind explain why?
He is a lizard. The difference between snakes and lizards is not legs, it's all in their face.
Ringtail lemurs live in troops, consisting of 30 individuals, and they're ruled by one dominant female. So, girl power. Sorry, King Julian. An interesting fact about binturongs is that binturongs is one of the only few mammals in the world that can experience delayed implantation, which allows the female to time the birth of her young with good environmental conditions. This means that mating can take place any time of the year, because the female can control when her babies are born. So they can take maternal leave whenever they want. The lemurs feed primarily on fruit, flowers, vegetation, and on occasion have been known to eat eggs and small insects. Kind of like my Uncle Lewis at Easter dinner. Confuse the predator long enough ringtails bask in the sun in groups, sun worshipping, absorbing the warmth of the sun through their less dense belly fur. Again, just like my Uncle Lewis at Easter dinner. Savannah mottled lizards are carnivores, and they use what we call the feast and fast system. Basically, during the wet seasons when food is plentiful, they'll just eat as much as they can, and when the dry season comes, they'll just survive off their fat reserves. It's like me when swimsuit season ends. Am I right, ladies? They will spend early morning and late afternoon foraging and will generally snooze through the heat of day. Again, like my Uncle Lewis at Easter dinner. African sulcata tortoises are vegetarians, meaning they only feast on plants. Just like my ex. But unlike my ex, I'm completely safe to be this close to her. Morelet crocodiles are primarily active at night, while I'm getting dubs in Fortnite, where they carry out hunting and mating, which is something I can't relate to. Anyways, native to Australia, the blue-tongued skink resides out in open country and hides under mulch for shelter. This makes suburban farms the perfect habitat for them. So they just might be your strangest looking neighbor. Kind of like my neighbor Henry. If you know, you know.
Hey, no! No, get down. Get.
Oh, it's in here. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm gonna lock it there.
Oh. Okay, it's safe. It's safe. Oh. Oh my god. Wait.
It's still recording.
Those are some of our best moments that aired, but what about the ones that didn't? Here's some Wild Joe cut content. The original second episode of Wild Joe was actually on bearded dragons, specifically Gideon here. We showcased one of our fellow students who let us use their lizard to educate y'all, Judah Solaire. Sadly, during the recording, we had some issues and all the footage was blurry. And due to filming towards the beginning of winter, we didn't want to stress the lizard out in the cold weather, so we never did a reshoot. Another animal cut from Wild Joe was a reticulated python, the longest species of snake in the world. We filmed the one named Rubius at Alding Acre Petting Zoo, who was 15 feet long. That's about as long as 2.647058823529412 me's stacked on top of each other. That's right, I did the math. You can see in this clip of him compared to a younger retic that was only 2.5 years younger. Again, we had to cut this episode because all the footage of the interview came out blurry. While at Eudora Farms, we filmed multiple animals, but two that were cut was the giraffe and macaw. The giraffe was super fun to film, but we had to stop recording halfway through due to weather, and I had at least gotten licked. We had also filmed a little bit of macaws, but sadly had to cut it due to weather and time. And that's what could have been. Before we finish things off, I'd like to give thanks to the people that without this segment would not be possible. First, I'd like to give thanks to the zoos, All Think Acre Petting Zoo and Eudora Farms, for letting us film with their creatures to help educate y'all. Then, I'd like to give thanks to my crew, Logan, Tatum, and Nick. Without them, we'd have no footage for these segments. And finally, I'd like to give thanks to my mom and my dad for this wonderful opportunity. I'm joking. Well, I do gotta thank them. I gotta thank you, the viewers, for enjoying my segment and giving me compliments in the hallways, which really brighten up my day and are truly appreciated. Well, that's all I have for today, Hanahan. This is my goodbye, but remember,
Stay curious, fly high, and soar like a hawk.